Many synchronistic events are occurring now. The energies that we're living in cannot be denied. And you will start to see synchronistic events that are relevant to the changes that are occurring in the world and the residue of what we've all lived through in the past few years. And there's an event unfolding right now, and I'm going to be breaking down the energies of this event and what it means for the shift that we're all going through. The former Pfizer headquarters on 42nd Street in New York City is buckling and might have one of two types of collapses, as Fire Chief John Esposito shared. And we'll be breaking down what these real actual events that we're seeing unfold our very eyes. Wow, you say, wow, what are these synchronistic events that are occurring? And what does it actually mean? There are very deep meanings behind these biblical events that are unfolding all around the world. Right now we have something that's unfolding in New York City, and many people are becoming aware of this today. And you say, yeah, this it's quite the synchronicity of all of the pressure that have been put upon the people over the past few years. If you really go back to 2020 and you think about the changes that happened in the world, you think about the pressure that you have been under, since 2020. Eventually, we buckle under that pressure. In life, there has to be some sort of balance. And if we don't have balance in life, eventually we buckle under the pressure. And, really this moment in time is about alignment. And when things are not in alignment, you have a collapse. We could have a local collapse, or we could have a massive collapse. And the choice is the people's choice, right? When we're aware of these things, which I'm going to be breaking down in this video today, when we become aware of these things, awareness is the precursor to change. So rapidly, there was a movement, there's an emergency movement to stop total collapse. Any person that's getting this message today, in our lives, we have a little sign from God, and then we could have a total collapse, or maybe just something in our life needs to fall off our timeline, if you will. We have to get rid of the stuff that's not going to serve us in the future. Many people in the past few years, they made changes in their life, and they said, these things are not even going to be part of the world anymore. I'm going to move forward with my life. And then there's also people that are digging in harder into these systems or beliefs that aren't even, it's not even going to be here anymore. So very powerful time period. I appreciate everyone coming on the live stream. I'm very grateful if you hit the like button. It pushes this video forward, and people will hear this word today. Yeah, the chat is really rolling right now. So there's a lot for us to break down in this lesson. Okay, so former Pfizer headquarters on 42nd Street in New York City is collapsing. Two support beams started to buckle, and there was an evacuation and emergency response. And one of two things could happen, according to Fire Chief John Esposito. Could be a localized collapse and not a total collapse. Sometimes in life, we have to say, you know what, this is not working for us, and you have a localized collapse. And when you're looking at the signs, they're looking at these signs. They're seeing these support beams. They're buckling right now. We have to stop everything. We have to have emergency shutdown, and we don't want total collapse. In the world right now, sometimes God gives us signs to maybe we need to slow down. Maybe we need to reassess, and we don't want a total collapse. A little background on the building. This building was originally 10 stories, and it was expanded to 33 stories in 1960, and now it's 37 stories. It's being converted to luxury residential apartments, okay? So, what we see is just the way of the world. If you just take this scenario of the building itself, originally this building was 10 stories. And then, because the property, you want to get property in Manhattan, it's very expensive, right? So we build more and we build more. And then eventually we have to say to ourselves, how much stress, how much more and more can we take into our life until we finally buckle under the pressure. So this building was originally 10 stories, expanded to 33 stories in 1960, and now 37 stories, and it's being converted into luxury residential apartments. One of the things I find a funny synchronicity, I was having a very deep spiritual talk with the community on one of my podcasts, and I was saying, sometimes people in the world, they will pass up the fancy apartments in the major city, and they would take just a shack on the beach, or a little something up on the mountain, because peace has become their top priority. When you look at Manhattan, and there's such a drive within people to say, oh, I live in Manhattan, and then so that if there is a need for those apartments, they're building more and more, and the pressure is building and building, and this is going to give us a very deep. It's a spiritual meaning behind this. And what we see in the world are people that they've literally left the world behind. Have you left the world behind? Did you come onto this podcast today? Are you saying see ya to the modern life? All right. The modern life is maybe the thing that's making you feel ill, because you can't keep up with it. And a lot of these structures, systems, concepts, belief systems, it can't exist anymore. And God is clearing it all away. Some people saying we're watching the hand of God move. Do you see the synchronicities within these massive events right now? What we could learn from this buckling of this building, of the luxury apartments now, there is no need to chase after societal norms. Chasing after structures that won't be here anymore. There are people in this world, and keeping up with the Joneses, I believe, is the phrase people use, right? A lot of people, they worry about prestige, right? They got to have prestige in life. But what is it really? What we're watching in the world is giving us a deep lesson. What matters in life and what truly never did. When we are under this great pressure that is collapse, it could collapse buildings, it could collapse your everyday life. When you have this pressure that's on you right now, you start to reflect, and you could say what truthfully matters and what truly never mattered in life. You might be in a job for many years and you realize that job didn't even matter. Or you were chasing this materialistic stuff in your life. Or you wanted to fit around with your loser narcissistic friends around the water cooler. Ooh, don't be concerned. Don't be concerned about the modern life and what people think about you. In this moment in the history of the world, right? We are reflecting, and we could say what truthfully never even mattered. And there are many empaths that are tuned into this podcast, and you're very hurt inside, because you're going to realize, and I've gone through phases in my life, because God always brings on the collapse so we could see clearly what's going on. And you're going to realize that maybe those people at the workplace, in the gym locker room, whatever it is in life, maybe they never cared about you. What really matters in life? So there's a big restructuring that's happening in the world. there was so much, pressure constantly restoring. And this is what happens in Manhattan. This has happened many times. I'm originally from New York, and I've seen, buildings, and they add more to the building. But think about how much that the value, quote unquote, value of living on Manhattan Island. And so what the lesson is teaching us, what started off at 10 stories, and then it expands, and then you go higher, and then you go more, right? It's like the Tower of Babel, then you go higher. and it puts too much pressure. There are many people, I speak to many powerful men over the years, right? People that had very affluent jobs, and they left all this stuff behind because eventually in life, there's so much pressure. There's so much pressure to hold an image. Maybe you don't want to have luxury apartments in the city. Maybe it's too much for the body to handle, right? So our bodies give signs before, ready? So if you're on this channel, right, your body is going to give you a sign before total collapse. And when we look at this, we see the two support beams, and we don't want to have the total collapse of the building. You don't want to have the total collapse of your body. So your body is going to give you the signs before the total collapse, because there's too much pressure. There's too much, and people that are feeling the intensities that are hitting the earth right now, the world that we live in, it's too much for a person to continue that matrix lifestyle. And when you think about these changes that are happening it's the physical. Recently in the world, there are mega earthquakes. Do you know this? Some people don't even know this. Okay. Mega earthquakes. The earth is shaking, and the micro and the macro. So you might be on this message and you could say, yeah, I feel shaking inside of my body. I can't live that way anymore. You see a building buckling, about to collapse. And you might go about your everyday life, and you keep living that same fake modern life, and you keep doing these things because people on the TV told you to live that way, because fake social media influencers told you to live that way, and your body feels like I feel like I'm buckling and I'm about to collapse. So it's very important, right? Just like the fire chief said, right? You don't want to have total collapse, but we might have a local collapse in a certain aspect of our life. So, and I've lived through that over the years. Okay, there are certain beliefs that I've had, or certain things that couldn't go. My journey is the journey of expansion, right? And if you're on this channel, you could click subscribe if you want to take this journey. If you're looking at the world and you say, this world it's going down, baby. It's going down, this world. So I want to live a new life. And I'm here to give you this information and this direction to keep going. Where you're headed is not where these other people are headed. Do you understand that? Do you understand? So what we have to understand is, in life, sometimes we have to have a localized collapse. Sometimes we have to allow things to fall off our timeline. Sometimes we have to allow fake people to implode and leave. But what you don't want is the total collapse. Yeah, Sean writes, the concrete jungle is losing its luster. It was a very prestigious thing to live in Manhattan years ago. It seems to still be the way. And again, I always share different strokes for different folks. There are people that love it. That's their life. But the percentage of people, more people, they want more space. Growing up in the city, and it really does depend on your lifestyle. You will maybe you're a people person, and you will meet many people in Manhattan. You really will. All right. So, but these are the lessons, and my teachings are always about balance, and you know what's for you and what's not for you, right? Like for me, it's just not for me to have a luxury apartment in Manhattan, but maybe it is for you, and I'm not going to deny a person that's what they want in their life. Do you understand how this works? Right? We're not all the same. There are some people that, they go too far out in spiritual, they have spiritual bypassing. We got to run away from everything. But what this lesson is teaching us is sometimes we don't have to have everything collapse. Maybe you're the one to fix these systems. Maybe you're the one so that we have to have localized collapses. We have to say, okay, maybe these things are not good. We have to let those things collapse, but we don't want the total collapse, because then we have these things that are, this system is helping these people over here. So there are deep lessons, and God shows us when you see these things happening and unfolding, and you could say, wow, you know what, this is a synchronicity. What you're watching in the world, so we could see this building about to collapse. You could see the mega earthquakes that are rattling the earth right now. None of this is random or accidental. This is called synchronicity. So there are people that are well versed on this, and what I do here is open this up to the everyday life person. There's no coincidences, especially when the energy is high. Well, what's energy? What's energy? It's the ability to cause change in the world right now. There's a mega energy that's blasting us. And energy is the ability to cause change. But some people in life, they don't want to change. I'll raise my hand. I am not the same man when I started this mission 7 years ago. I'm not that same man. We have to go about our journey, and we have to allow parts of our life to collapse, and we have to reassess our life, and we're constantly evolving, because there is no finish line, and you must continue to move forward. And we allow the localized collapses of our life. That person ain't for us. This job ain't for us. Whatever it might be. Do you understand? But it doesn't mean all of these things are bad. It doesn't mean all of these people are bad. It is what it is. But in the world, right, we're going through what's called quantum chaos. This is a mega quantum event that's happening. And there are physical structures, right? But we live in a band of frequencies. The reality that we're in is a result of frequency, which is not solid. So sometimes we do see solid structures, solid things act a certain way. Between reading the comment section in the past few days and talking to my friends that are also on this journey, I'm getting comments and just having conversations. I got too much stress. I can't take it anymore. How many people that are on this live stream does that resonate with? Too much stress. I can't take it anymore. And that's your soul crying out for more, kid. That's your soul crying out for change, right? Okay, the chat. So maybe you're feeling this way. Maybe you're feeling this way. Okay? I appreciate you checking in. Everyone's coming in today. Powerful. There's powerful stuff coming to this world right now. And we don't want to deny it. So we have to release without resistance. Once again, we want to release without resistance. I was recently talking about these trees. We had these storms, and I see these mega tall trees, right? And when the storm came, I see these trees bending, being real flexible in the wind, right? And then I saw these other trees, right? They got uprooted and they fell over. It's a very pivotal time. It's very important to be flexible with your everyday life if you cannot be flexible. If you have this pressure, like the building is, you're going to start to buckle, and what we don't want is total collapse of our everyday life. What we want to have is to allow things that are, now we are going to assess the change. Sometimes in life, God gives us an emergency. Some people get to this place when they go through the spiritual awakening, and it's called a healing crisis. And you might have a mega ailment in the body, and you could say to yourself, okay, I got to stop my life. So in this scenario right here, they had to stop everything and they had to shut it down to prevent total collapse. So in the world right now, there are people that are feeling this pressure building and building and building, and it might call us to take a step back to reassess and look at the time. And in life, things can be propped up for so long. You have seen this in a post-2020 world. Have you seen things propped up? But eventually, the truth comes out. Eventually, we realize that this was not, we could not make this building any taller. We couldn't make it any tall. We couldn't do it. We couldn't handle it. It wasn't truthful that it could be this tall. If you are on this message today and you reflect on your life in a post-2020 world, and you might have went through a lot of time where you were isolated and you were alone with God, and as I've shared with the community, this is about foundation. Just like the building has a foundation, that foundation can only support so much. So if you are set aside in this big transitional phase of humanity, which is where physically see these things getting falling apart right now, you were building your foundation. It was always about the foundation. If you do not have this foundation, right, and you could see these buildings falling down, all these things might look a certain way, but you have to have that foundation set. And nothing about that process is easy. You know, there are men, hard workers. I gotta build this foundation. There's a lot of work to do for those people to build that foundation so that you can build that building. In life, right? You say, I have these big aspirations. That means, That means you got to spend more time under the ground with God, with the hard hat on, building the foundation. And as we move forward as a society, we have to have rock solid foundations that are going to last. And if you do not have these foundations, it can never last. It can never last the test of time. And anything that you're feeling right now, there's a lot of maybe new people that are coming in today. It's a big topic. You are feeling these things. Do not deny these things. Maybe your soul is crying out for more. Maybe you don't want that luxury apartment in the middle of Manhattan. Maybe you don't want that fancy, prestigious job. Maybe your soul is crying. But you want to fit in with society. You can't fit in with society no more. There is going to come this time in your life, right? I love what I do, right? And I don't care about people that don't understand and gaslight. That world is already finished. It's collapsing. It's going down. Why would you care? Why would you go back? Why would you go back inside, right? So like the fire chief, it's shut. You're not allowed to go in the building. It's shut down. They got the sensors. They're measuring how far it goes. So in life, when you see the old structure, when you see the old system, and there's people out there on social media, and they say, you could clearly see the buildings going down. You're not supposed to go back in the building, bro. Do you understand the lesson today? You're not supposed to go back in the building. Shut it down. It's powerful stuff today, right? I appreciate everyone in the chat I appreciate you smashing the like button to push this forward. You don't go back in the building. The building is buckling. And this is why, they said, it's difficult to reach, quote unquote, the kingdom of heaven, right? Because, there's a luxury. I got to go back. But it's not there no more. And this can manifest in different aspects of our life. It could be the job. It could be this. It could even be with relationships. There are many people in this world, they do transactional relationships. They don't have unconditional love relationships. So you might be a person, you might be getting me in this first time, and you can say, these fake relationships, I'm watching them collapse. They cannot resist this new energy that's on the earth. We could have relationships, right, with a person, but that was a transactional relationship, kid. That wasn't she didn't love you, bro. She didn't love you, bro. She wanted half your pension, bro. Gotta wake up, hit the like button for the truth on this channel. Wake up today. You gotta, and there's many people that are waking up to this. He didn't love you, sis. He didn't love you, sis. He just wanted to treat you like the arm candy, right? People in life, we got to wake up to the truth right now. And sometimes the truth, we don't like the truth, right? We don't like the truth of the systems, this and that and the other thing. But right now, God is shaking this earth. It's going to shake you. It's going to shake the buildings. It's going to shake the earthquakes. The shaking is happening. I told you the great shaking is happening. How can these foundations last when God is shaking the earth? Don't be Captain Literal Man like there's a giant hand. Oh, there goes God. There's people like that out there. Okay, understand that there's an energy on this earth, and it builds and it builds. And it's a real energy. It's a real energy that we feel in our body. Recently, I put up a powerful video, and millions of people, right, they're feeling it around the world. So many people resonated with that. Do you feel these things? You might feel it in your stomach, in your solar plexus, which is tied in to the systems of the world, and you're feeling these things in your gut. The foundation that you're built on, it's got to be ironclad. You have to release without resistance. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I could share from firsthand experience over the course of years. I've done this. But until you actually let it go, the pressure is going to be too much. And what is the pressure too much on? It's too much on your nervous system. Your nervous system will collapse under this pressure. A lot of pressure building right now. But when you deny these things, or if you lean into it, right, when we could address the problem, we don't want the whole building to collapse all over the place. We got to shut it down. We have to address the problem, right? You look at the thing, the fire chief knows what he's doing for the building. But now we have to reflect on our lives and our connections, which is a frequency, connections to this lifestyle, connections to this belief. Some people believe things are good for them. They're not. And what we're watching in the world right now, the truth is coming out. And the truth that comes out in this is the truth of you. What are you connected to? What are you believing in? And sometimes we have to see a big spectacle in order to wake up. But as I said a long time ago, this is very relevant for our everyday lives. We always want to listen to God when we get the taps and the nudges. We don't want the great shaking of a lifetime. And the world is headed towards a great shaking right now. We see it play out. Anastasia, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful for the support. Anastasia writes, unconditional love reigns supreme. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. You got to have compassion to others. and not like paint everyone with a label or a certain thing and say all things are good or all things are bad. It is what it is. And in this world right now, it is what it is. And we have to start tending to things before we have total collapse. Once again, we have to start tending to the systems, the structures, the cycles, the processes before we have a total collapse. Listen to the codes, listen to the clues that God has given us across the world right now. Hannah, thank you so much for the super chat. I love you. Hannah writes, there are two kinds of pain. Mine is of change and growth, not of staying stuck in the comfort zone. I appreciate that, Hannah. Thank you so much for the super chat. There are two types of pain. I don't want to leave this building, right? Now I have to move, I have to do things. And listen, in our lives, it represents something. And we could choose our pain in life. You get to choose your pain, kid. Congratulations. You get to choose. Everyone gets pain now. Oh yeah. You choose the pain of discipline, or you choose the pain of regret. And in my world famous video, regret is worse than failure. Don't sit there with regret. Don't sit there when the total collapse. Oh, I should have done this. If you sit there in life and you say, I should have evacuated, I should have changed, right? So understand the energies that God is showing us right now. And these synchronistic events that are riveting across the world right now. And nothing could stop it because it's energy. And there is change. And there's going to be more change. But in life, we have to listen to the taps and the nudges that God gives us, and then we got to go like this. We got to let it go. Got to let go of our ways. We got to let go of the anger. I recently did a very powerful video on this, how it's connected to the liver. You got to let go of the anger. You can't have anger no more. Forgiveness, going to bring you a long way. The identity that you had, we've all been through these massive changes and shifts. The identity has got to change. And what this is representing are for the people that are writing the comments right now. You have to look at these things, right? And what was the way? That old way is going to collapse. That old way is going to collapse. So, but what we don't want is total collapse. We gotta fix it. We gotta make it better. We got to make it serve our people. Do you understand? The constant chase is becoming very tiresome to many people, and the sensitivity that you have. You might be on this today. You say, you know what? I had to pull back, especially in the past year. You had to go inside. You had to pull back. Too much chatter in the world. Have you ever been in Manhattan? Anyone? It was much. Even before I understood all the densities and what an empath is, I would go in the city and I say, oh man, like it's cool, it's fun for a short period of time, but like, and the Native Americans knew this. They would go to Manhattan Island, but they wouldn't live on Manhattan Island. And some people are in it all day long. I mean, if you go to Manhattan Island, you will feel that pulse. You really will. And certain things in life, it might be a cool place to visit, but if you're in that all day long, I mean, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. And you feel it, and you're taking, you do feel that pulse. You do feel that pulse. But But it's become more like the clogged arteries. They got more traffic. They got like what do they have now? Congestive pricing. You can't even drive your car. You get a toll or something now. So there's a lot. There's got to be balance in life, and really the main key is alignment and balance. We have to have alignment. The columns have to be in alignment for the building to stand. If the column is buckling and is out of alignment, and you got the pulling, right, and you could feel that pulling inside of you, we have problems. So we don't want those problems. But you could look at the world, and you could look at, people will look at this, if you don't understand synchronicities, if you don't look at the bigger, there's a bigger and deeper picture behind all these events that are occurring that can't be stopped at this time. So in our lives, let's take a step back. Some people are distracted all day long, but and this is really a very good example to share with other people. Instead of just ignoring the situation, the ostrich, sometimes you see the ostrich put the head in the sand. They don't want to look. They don't want to look about, you don't want to look about there's the building is buckling. Sometimes we don't want to look. Sometimes we got to look right at it. We got to look at the buckling. We have to shut it down, and we have to address the problem. If we don't address the problem immediately, if not sooner, then we have a total collapse. And we can have localized collapses in our lives. And we have to allow things to fall off our timeline. We have to allow people to fall off our life. Get out of here. We have to. But we don't want total collapse. There's a term, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You ever hear that term? Sometimes in life we have to understand what's important and what's not important. Back to the beginning of the lesson. Okay, what matters in life is what we learned, and what truthfully never mattered in life. Getting connected to your soul is very important at this time, because we will, and we are seeing people that only look at the bad. They only look at that, but we don't look at the, oh wow, look at the chief doing the work. Look at the chief. He's fixing the chief is fixing the building. There's men in this world that are fixing the problem. If you resonate with that at a deep level, I'm so grateful if you smash the like button and push this video forward to other people, because there's got to be real life people in the world that are here to address the problem. We must address the problems of the world and not just say, oh, I'm going to run off grid and disregard it. So if you're a man, if you're a woman, and you want to improve your life and the lives of others, that's what we do here as a community. We're making lives better across the world. We're not allowing the total collapse, and we're focusing on what we can do in this very pivotal moment. So I appreciate each and every one of you. We have daily videos, 9 a.m. Eastern time, to help you become the greatest version of yourself. And let me know in the comments, do you want the luxury apartments in Manhattan? And again, there's no right or wrong to this. There are people that's their lifestyle, but there are many people that are becoming very sensitive. People that, maybe want a little more space in life, but that building could maybe only built so high. You gotta have foundation. You have to have foundation in your everyday life. And that's really the lesson today. Check out the relevant videos that pop up in the pinned comment. So grateful if it resonates, if you click subscribe. I appreciate that. And check out our Facebook, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram. Utilize the hashtag OurEverydayLives. Share the video forward. Let's make the world great. Let's make everything better. And live that way. Live that way. Because just like, there are great people in this world that could prevent this whole reality from collapsing. But sometimes the collapse is a collapse into a definite timeline. Quantum physics, you need an observer. And we're watching a collapse into a brand new timeline. Who knows? Maybe the world will be saved. Who knows? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you all. Stay focused, stay motivated. Keep going, kid.